Hello and welcome to City of News across Canada for Wednesday, February 18th. We've got the top local stories from coast to coast, stories that affect you and the country. Thanks for joining us.
Paper bags cover a man's hands. Above them, handcuffs encircle his wrists. A man in his 50s taken into custody, accused of stabbing multiple family members.
We saw flashlights, so that's all we knew. Like, we just check in the window. We saw lots of police cars. We thought some just emergency, or maybe like medical emergency.
Neighbors say at first they couldn't believe foul play had brought police to the Bathurst and Steeles area home.
We saw the commotion last night, and we were we thought that there were like a fire somewhere. But when we saw the gentleman handcuffed, then we know already that there's something wrong.
Security pictures show several ambulances outside a home on Plum Treeway Crescent just before 10 p.m. last night. First responders at the scene of what was originally called in as unknown trouble.
I was here on this couch and I heard nothing.
To me, it's so sad. We don't know what's going on inside the house.
When police entered the home, they found two men aged 23 and 26 with serious stab wounds. Two women aged 29 and 51 sustained non-life-threatening injuries.
Domestic disputes are one of the most violent when they occur, but they are extremely rare and they can be tragic. But police responded very quickly.
All four, whom neighbors say are the suspect's adult children and wife, were taken to hospital.
We were shocked because it seems that they are a quiet family, and we saw the children as well, so it's kind of scary.
Never heard anything. Like, they're very nice people. Like, the husband who always say hi to us when we're outside.
A 53-year-old man who was not injured was arrested at the scene. The accused is charged with 7 offenses, including aggravated assault and assault with a weapon. His name is not being released to protect the identities of the victims. Reporting live, I'm Janice Golding. Now back to Nathan.
Thank you, Janice.
Calgarians Paul Fortuna and his daughter Victoria had a close relationship. They shared their love of the Edmonton Oilers and their affection for their dog Monty. Paul welcomed Victoria to the world 21 years ago.
The first person to hold her was Paul. So the first face that Victoria saw was her dad's. And they had a special bond.
One that was tragically cut short on February 8th outside Sherwood Park on Anthony Henday Drive. Victoria called her dad, who was in Edmonton for business, to help fix a flat tire on the side of the road. As both stood roadside working on the tire, an SUV driven by a 21-year-old smashed into their vehicles, pushing them into the pair, killing Paul. Victoria was taken to hospital and placed into an induced coma. Both her legs were later amputated.
It's going to be a journey, and it's going to be a long-term journey for her. She's going to experience many milestones in her life where she's going to have wanted her dad to be there. And tragically, someone's taken that from them.
Victoria is a fine arts student at MacEwan University. She's had background roles in shows such as The Last of Us and Heartland. She even participated in the Calgary Stampede Parade last year. Family says she will need prosthetics. Her home will need to be modified to make it more accessible.
We are going to do everything we can to give her the best life and help support her.
The family has received an outpouring of financial donations through a crowdfunding campaign. RCMP have not laid charges but continue their investigation.
This is not the time for anger. It's hard to put that aside because it is so unfair and so unnecessary.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
Brooklyn Holmes is on maternity leave with her 3-month-old son. She isn't set to return to work at Employment and Social Development Canada until the fall, but already she doesn't know if she'll have a job to go back to.
We have 60 days to decide if we want to take part in the voluntary departure program, and after that we would maybe compete for our jobs if not enough people have left.
She and her husband both work for the federal government, and her job is among thousands affected by workforce reductions. At the same time, if she returns, she'll be expected in the office 4 days a week under the latest return to office mandate.
Right now, trains are breaking down, buses are running off schedule, so I'm worried about whether or not I'm going to be able to get to work on time and then also get to daycare and school drop off and pick up on time.
That's assuming she has childcare at all. Her oldest starts kindergarten in the fall, and at the start of the school year, the Ottawa-Carleton District School Board had more than 1,000 children on wait lists for extended day programs.
We put ourselves on the wait list, but they don't make those decisions until sometimes I think it could be even August.
And daycare for her youngest is no different. Operators say wait lists have only grown under the $10 a day childcare program.
I actually got on the list before I was pregnant, so I'm hoping that will be enough to get him a spot in the fall.
According to one union representing public servants, that uncertainty is now a reality for many women and working parents.
These decisions have not been based in facts and evidence, and they're not taking into account the lives of people. The wait lists were already long, and for folks to find care on such short notice is now just going to add an extra burden to the system.
For Holmes, she's leaning towards voluntarily leaving the public service and trying self-employment, even if it means less pay.
I think women disproportionately bear the cost of these kind of policies, so it would be disappointing if the policies resulted in women leaving the workforce in large numbers.
And we did reach out to the Treasury Board for comment, but did not hear back before deadline. Stefan?
CTV's Caitlin Wilson reporting live for us tonight.
In these uncertain economic times, as British Columbians dig a little deeper in their pockets for nearly everything, the provincial finance minister is asking them to pay more to the government as well.
We know that British Columbians are tightening their belts, and they expect their government to do the same.
The average worker will see their income taxes go up by $76 per year. The province estimates 40% of people will qualify for tax credits to offset that increase. But the highest earners will pay an extra $201 per year. Provincial sales tax will now apply to more products and services, including basic cable and landline telephone bills, which were previously exempt.
The tax changes have been structured very carefully. If you're making less than an individual making less than $149,000, for example, you're actually paying the lowest personal income tax in Canada.
One of the biggest increases is the additional school tax, which hits people with homes assessed over $3 million. That's going up by 50%, which will add thousands to some homeowners' tax bills. On the cost savings side, the province plans to reduce the size of the provincial workforce by 15,000 people over the next 3 years. It predicts that will save close to $3 billion over that period.
Our goal will be to use attrition as well as incentivize voluntary departures and early retirements.
The province will also pause or delay some capital projects, including an expansion at Burnaby Hospital and new student housing at UVic. The projected deficit for this year is forecast at $13.3 billion, an increase of almost $4 billion. By the end of the upcoming 3-year fiscal cycle, total provincial debt is expected to balloon to almost $235 billion.
Ben, the finance minister, told us she would be the most unpopular person in the province once this budget was tabled. Is that true?
Well, that might remain to be seen, but there is no question the job cuts and tax increases will have far-reaching impacts, but do not seem to be improving the bottom line. Adding up all the red ink in this document, and we are looking at the largest budget deficit ever for British Columbia. Miriam?
Okay, thank you, Ben.
Jonathan Easingwood almost went back to bed when he saw the snow outside his window, but clearing the snow is part of his job.
I didn't even want to go anywhere today, so roads are terrible, sidewalks are even worse, but we're definitely doing our part to make it happen.
Easingwood isn't alone. The city started its snow clearing early, bringing in extra contractors to clear major roads.
Typically, they wait until when the snowfall ends, so now they've actually brought them in the beginning to make sure that the contractors are out there supplementing the work of the city crews.
A better way to tackle the new snow blanketing the city. Those contractors are in addition to the city's 120 truck plows already at work.
We do feel quite confident that we'll be able to get the roadways cleared and ready to go in a very short period of time.
The major snow dump in December saw many Edmontonians frustrated with the city's slow pace of snow clearing.
The city's been terrible this year. My vehicle, I've been in the shop multiple times because of the roads.
A citywide parking ban for major roadways takes effect Wednesday morning and will last 3 to 5 days.
Crews will be working in priority order 24/7 to get main roads clear for use for residents during this time.
Mayor Knack says enforcement for the parking ban won't increase as funding is at a standstill. At the start of the new fiscal year, the city is in good shape for its budget and wants to do better in 2027.
Because I don't want to just meet the current service standard anymore. I want us to be better than what we currently say we're going to do.
On Friday, the city will then evaluate if residential snow clearing is needed. Miriam Valdes-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
In late January, a pipe burst at the Douglas Institute, causing significant damage and drenching lab equipment. It also closed a research area.
We are very, very frustrated.
Dr. Gustavo Turecki is the Institute's scientific director. He says many of his colleagues are unable to work. Their building is no longer safe.
There's contamination with asbestos everywhere, and the equipment are locked.
And much of their valuable research into the brain and mental illness has been ruined.
So experiments that were being conducted now for several months, and it's the result of years of work, were impacted.
Hoping to help these scientists continue their work, the Douglas Foundation is trying to raise $1 million.
We have launched an urgent appeal to our supporters to help raise funds to meet the needs caused by the flooding.
While the funds won't help repair infrastructure, they will be used to help scientists relocate labs and start over.
It can look like supporting acquisition of lab equipment, viruses, additional tools that may or may not be covered by insurance.
Dr. Turecki says the Douglas has been dilapidated for years. Promises to modernize the psychiatric hospital 2 decades ago have come and gone. Most recently, he says, a plan the province committed to fund in 2020 was paused just last year.
5 years of work, millions of dollars invested in that, in all the studies.
Santé Quebec tells CTV the 2026 to 2036 Quebec Infrastructure Plan, QIP, will be unveiled in the next budget. While waiting for the major QIP projects, we are working closely with institutions to maximize asset maintenance budgets. But Dr. Turecki says things need to move faster for patients and staff, and so scientists can keep getting highly competitive grants.
Science is a slow process. It's a very competitive process as well. It's difficult to obtain funds to do the work.
A situation that has always been stressful, he says, and now all the more urgent. Angela McKenzie, CTV News.
Nationally, food inflation jumped to 7.3% year over year in January. That's up from 6.2% in December, according to a Stats Canada report released Tuesday. Those numbers surprised the experts.
Well, actually, we were expecting a rate of 6.5%, so an increase from 6.2%, but we're now at 7.3%, which is incredibly high.
The numbers are even more shocking in our region. Food inflation in New Brunswick sits at 9%, a touch higher in Nova Scotia at 9.2%, and PEI comes in at 10.1%. Some products are more expensive than others.
Essentially protein, so you have to think about beef. Beef is up again 18.8%, so that's still going up. Pork is also a big issue.
That has people looking for deals.
A lot of people don't make a lot of money, and a lot of people like to shop where the things are on special all the time.
This is a Tuesday, and you can see behind me that we're pretty busy.
Tamara McKay is the PR manager at the Gateway Meat Market, a discount grocer in the Halifax area.
Every time food prices go up elsewhere, we kind of get more of an influx of customers because we are more of a discounted grocery store, and that leads to people wanting to make a longer drive to find more affordable groceries.
Blair McLeod is one of those customers. He drove an hour to save a few dollars.
Well, I like the prices. The food's good. I live in Annapolis Valley.
There was some good news in the Stats Can report. Prices dropped for things like eggs and fresh fruit. And Todd Sylvain Charlebois expects food inflation to come back down a bit in February, but compared to other countries, our food prices will still be relatively high for the foreseeable future. Todd.
All right, thank you, John, leading us off at the grocery store tonight near Dartmouth.
5 years later, the town of Willowbunch says they still recall the aftermath of a break-in at their office.
That shock and of seeing everything empty. Every once in a while, that creeps back into your head.
After speaking with police at the time, Ager says all signs showed that this kind of break-and-enter was far from unique to their community.
Before and after it happened to us, we'd see different snippets on social media or, on the news telling about other communities' experiences similar to ours, and we always wondered, is it the same person?
As it turns out, they were allegedly carried out by the same person, according to Saskatchewan RCMP.
Last week, 57-year-old Michael Arsenault was arrested in Regina by Saskatchewan RCMP officers. 76 charges were laid against him.
In total, Arsenault was accused of carrying out break-ins in 43 communities across the province between September 2019 and February 2026. Arsenault faces 62 counts of breaking and entering, 12 counts of attempting to break and enter with intent, and 1 count each of possession of stolen property under and over $5,000. Police say investigators determined a total of $50,000 had been stolen, in addition to debit and credit cards, gift cards, alcohol, and even antique coins. Although no significant items were taken, minus some cash, added security measures have since been put in place, something even small communities like Willowbunch now need to consider, according to Ager.
In today's world, I think it is really something that everybody has to start considering and putting those safeguards into place.
Arsenault will make his first court appearance at Regina Provincial Court on Wednesday. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
Pretty good. Everyone was high spirits.
The return of the third shift is being welcomed by many.
20 years on midnights, had to go to swing shift for 3 years. Really changes things, and today's my first night back, and I'm happy.
Stellantis cut the third shift back in 2020 along with 1,500 jobs. Last year, the company announced the return of that shift, bringing back 1,500 to 1,700 jobs and beefing up the workforce to about 6,000 here at the Windsor Assembly Plant.
My dad keeps on saying it's like I won the lottery.
A lot of younger people were hired on.
Midnights, it helps with school.
I'm actually heading to school right now.
I'm very thankful because, they work very well around my school schedule. They're not too stingy about, oh, you have school or whatever. If you have a test, you'd let them know, and they're like, okay, well, we'll let you have time off. So you work when you need to work, and it's good pay as well.
The jobs can be a life changer.
People can be buying houses, cars. It really stimulates the economy back in Windsor. This is what we needed.
I'm fortunate enough to get enough shifts, and hopefully I can save up for a car or go towards my tuition.
The third shift returns at the feeder plants simultaneously, some recalling laid-off workers and others hiring new employees.
People will be able to generate more money and spend in the community, not only in the automotive sector, but across all sectors in this community.
This is an exciting time for Windsor. Long term, we have some challenges that we have to make sure we keep working with. That's part of why we met with the minister today, to make sure she hears our voice on manufacturing and the importance of making sure we have a good agreement with the U.S.
One minor inconvenience for the morning shift, finding a parking spot, which now is a premium.
I actually got here about 25 minutes ago, and honestly, driving around, I got a parking spot that I don't think I'll get a ticket in.
Morning shifters are taking the change in stride.
I'm pumped to go see all my co-workers. A lot of them changed to midnights, so I'm going to go see them right now and tag one of them out.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
Crews began working to repair this water main break early Friday morning at 1 a.m. It has shut down a portion of the intersection at Fountain Street and King Street West in Cambridge. On Saturday, the city shared an update saying a third-party utility was damaged during the repair, and the utility must be fixed before the area can safely reopen. The city said parts were being sourced and work was expected to be complete on Sunday. Then on Sunday, the city shared another update saying the intersection would remain closed through Monday as the repair work was still being done. As of Tuesday, crews were still busy working at the intersection. No one from the city was available for an interview, but in an email, Cambridge's Director of Environmental Services says, with forecasted freezing rain in the next day, we are anticipating repairs will be completed by the end of the day. But depending on the time of completion, paving operations could be delayed by rain. The businesses at the intersection say it's been a hassle with traffic, but they haven't seen much more of an impact from the repairs. No water has been shut off for any businesses or homes in the area, but depending on the direction you're driving, it is a bit of a headache, as drivers coming from King Street can't turn left onto Fountain Street South. Drivers coming from Fountain Street South can't continue through the intersection, and drivers coming down Fountain Street North can't turn left onto King Street, which has caused some to make some unsavory turns to reroute themselves. The city is asking drivers to avoid the area and use the detour on King and Eagle Streets and Speedsville Road.
So again, while those repairs are expected to be complete soon, the impending freezing rain could have an impact on how quickly that timeline falls. And the city, of course, will have some updates on its website on where the status of the project is at. Tony.
Yeah, it does look like a pretty slow drive in those portions behind you there. Colton, thank you so much. CTV's Colton Weems live with that situation in Cambridge.
At the Police HQ inquiry, former City of Winnipeg CAO Phil Schiegel testified he wanted to make sure Caspian Construction, who eventually won the construction contract, was not left out of the bidding process.
I thought he was a good choice.
The project to buy and renovate the former Canada Post building ballooned from $135 million to $214 million. Schiegel testified he was comfortable lowering a performance bond for the construction contract from $40 to $25 million. The bond is collateral for the city. Schiegel says he wanted to make sure more companies were able to bid on the project, including Caspian owner Armic Babakanians, who he considered a bona fide bidder.
Then I didn't want him to get shut out.
You didn't want him to get shut out.
Mm-hmm.
The inquiry heard about a meeting between Babakanians and Schiegel before the contract was awarded. While Schiegel couldn't remember the meeting, he was asked if meeting one of the bidders and not others may be seen as bias.
It was probably not right to meet with him. It was not right to meet with him, but I was not aware. I shouldn't say I wasn't aware. I didn't even think that there would be a problem with meeting with him or other people.
A civil court judge concluded Schiegel took a $327,000 bribe from Caspian. Schiegel has always insisted it was for a land deal in Arizona with former Mayor Sam Cates and Babakanians. Schiegel was also asked if he and Babakanians ever discussed the Caspian owner making significant profits from the project and then sharing them with Schiegel and Cates.
Absolutely, unequivocally, no.
The inquiry also heard about a number of emails between Schiegel and Babakanians after the contract was awarded. Schiegel told the inquiry he was getting frustrated by all of the messages, saying he was very busy, and Babakanians was emailing and calling him multiple times a day.
Jeff, did Schiegel offer any insight into why the city chose the former Canada Post building for this?
Yes, he said there was a sense of urgency to the project as the police needed a new station because the old one was falling apart. He said a downtown location was something the police wanted, and the former Canada Post building could withstand natural disasters. Schiegel also said the city had looked into building something from scratch, which he says could have cost up to $600 million.
All right, thanks for this, Jeff.
Greater Sudbury Police confirmed they received a report regarding the incident on February 14th, and that, quote, the dog has since been removed from the individual's care. Animal Welfare Services have been notified and are following up as part of the ongoing process. Officials confirmed they received hundreds of calls and are reminding community members to refrain from calling 911 unless they have first-hand information.
When they're not feeling like they're getting the service of provincial animal welfare, they're calling the police because they're looking for somebody to do something. So it's about understanding everybody's role in the animal world and what they do. And we just feel the ministry is kind of failing Northern Ontario.
She says the frustration PetSave is feeling is that no one is being held accountable for the behavior.
That's where you're seeing it explode onto social media now, because it's boiling over, the frustration of watching this abuse week after week, and it seems like nothing's being done. So we definitely in the north have had some pretty horrific cases. Us ourselves in the past year have dealt with quite a few that really should have resulted in charges. Animals literally died as a result of that neglect or abuse. and nothing was done.
Meantime, the Greater Sudbury Animal Shelter shared a post saying it is aware of the video, but reminding people to call 311 for only strays or injured animals. In Ontario, abuse or neglect can be reported by calling 1-8339-ANIMAL. CTV reached out to the Ministry of the Solicitor General, but did not receive a statement by our deadline. Passat says she feels the ministry needs to look at the amount of officers, what the rules are, and that maybe some of the laws need to be changed. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.